Hi, Julie. Good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you.
How are you?
Good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, I thought this movie was wonderful, so I'm
Oh,
excited it's finally coming out.
thank you. Me too.
When we last spoke, it was for Chosen Family, which you were wonderful in, and you were speaking about how excited you were for your directorial debut, and here we are, of course. Um, so how do you feel now that it's being released, that it's finally hitting the masses these months later? Is it still not really sunk in yet, or
It's just starting to sink in. I
yeah,
think I've gone through all the emotions, but it's really fantastic. I'm so excited. I just loved making this movie so much and I love the story and I hope people love it as much as I do.
and going forward, I mean, after this experience, do you feel like you're gonna lean towards directing more or doing acting and directing, finding a balance between the two?
I think finding a balance between the two, I think it's just I'll take it project by project. I definitely would love to direct again. I think it's about finding the right story.
Of course.
Um, but that goes for acting as well. I think it was 5 years since I read the book, and in that time, um, this story has only gotten like more meaningful for me. And I think, you devote and it's taken on a life of its own and is still something that's so moving and interesting to me. And I think you have to find that kind of longevity with whatever story you're looking for as a director, because you're going to be living with it for a long time.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense. And you're such a wonderful actor. I just spoke with your stars, and they were all wonderful in your movie, and they were raving about you. And I was curious for you, with all your acting experience, when you were making this movie, was there ever along the way a particular role, maybe a supporting role that you were kind of tempted to play or saw yourself like, oh, I could have maybe pulled that off, or maybe not?
I
For
knew that I didn't, well, first of all, there wasn't really a part for me. But I knew that I did not want to direct myself for very long. Like I wouldn't want to be in the movie very much. There was sort of a temptation, or at least people, or pressure. There was like people nudging me, on the crew or whatever, to do a cameo. Or at one point, I think when we were trying to finance it, it was like, if I do a cameo, could we get more money, whatever. But I thought about that. I actually did write a scene. There was a scene in the Mexican restaurant, and that I was going to maybe play one of the customers that was kind of being obnoxious to our main character. That was very funny, but it ended up, I didn't even shoot it because I was like, I don't think it's right. Like if all of a sudden I'm in the movie, then that's distracting and takes you out of the story. Then we were like, maybe I'll just do like the Alfred Hitchcock thing and just walk by in the background. But I shied away from that too. I was really happy to not go into hair and makeup and just be it. So I was happily stepping behind the camera and didn't need to distract people by getting in front of it.
Yeah, yeah, those are good points. I understand. People would have loved to see you, but I get it. Um, and I mean, looking back on your career up to this point, I mean, is there a particular, and this is a wonderful romance story. I think people are going to love it. I think it's a nice little escape. I mean, I'm in LA, so I think people are going to love, checking this out and kind of tuning out all the madness for 90 minutes. Uh, yeah, so it's great timing. But is there another romance story that you starred in that you think has been a favorite of yours from over the years? Uh, whether it's a rom-com or just like a love story that you've starred in that has always kind of stuck with you from your career.
I mean, I have to say probably 10 Things I Hate About You,
Yeah.
because it was such a special time that was like a little time capsule captured on film. And the fact that people still watch it and talk about it now, means so much to me because that's what you want as a performer. But it was also a role that spoke to me and I was dying to do, because I, like, as a 17-year-old auditioning actress, I was a teenager trying to find myself in a lot of facing a lot of criticism, like any actor does. But it was particularly vulnerable because I was so young. That finally, when I read 10 Things I Hate About You, in the role of Kat, this feisty, outspoken girl that doesn't care what people think about her, it was so freeing, and I was happy to be a part of it. So the fact that it still has a life is really, really meaningful to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's on
And I
Netflix,
wanted
and
to make, I
people,
honestly, I really wanted to make a movie as a director that would appeal to that audience. This is, it has definitely moments of levity, is maybe a little bit, uh, yeah, it has moments of levity. It's not but it also has lots of, dramatic, serious things that go on.
of course, yeah. And I'm sure you've been asked, a million times, but is there, something you learned from, working with Heath Ledger, or a story or your time working with him that has always sort of stuck you, something that maybe made you laugh, or something about his acting that it's always kind of stuck with you, or maybe inspired you, maybe for even for this movie.
I mean, probably his fearlessness, like, and he just poured himself into that role in particular. I mean, all of his roles, but that role in particular, because it was the first time I had seen him. I just remember that stadium scene being like, the reaction that you see on my face is like a genuine reaction, because I didn't expect this. Like, he was just so gung-ho about that spectacle and that song. He was such a force, he was very, very, very magnetic, and walked into a room and just drew everybody in.
If where would you see Kat Stratford if she were walking around today, if there were any sort of 25 years later sequel or something,
God, I
picture
don't know.
her.
I feel like maybe I mean, I hope she's a lot happier and kind of chilled since she's got out of high school. But like, she'd either be on a beach in Costa Rica and she'd own a taco stand and go surfing every day, no screens and no social media, no phones, or I don't know, touring with a rock band.
Yeah, that sounds good. And when we last spoke, you were talking about how, you reached out to Doug Lyman for shooting those boats, those elegant boat scenes for Wish You Were Here, which looked lovely. I remember when you said that to me last time, I couldn't wait to see them, and they looked great. So great job on that. And I was, that got me thinking. I mean, they're talking about the future of the Bourne franchise, possibly doing another one. Do you have any thoughts on that? Uh,
Oh, I mean, I feel like I've been hearing that for the last 20 years of my life.
yeah.
And sometimes they do another one, and sometimes
Yeah.
they wait 10 years and they don't. Like, I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Well, thank you very much, Julia. It's good to see you again. Let's do it
Good to see
again
you.
next time.
Yes, thank you. And I'm glad you liked the movie. Thank you so much.